Hi everyone. So this is Christy Kennedy.
Hi.
Hi Christy. And so Christy, how long have you been here now?
My husband and I have been here for 2.5 years in Vilcabamba
Okay, wonderful. And you came down from the US.
from Colorado.
Okay. And what brought you guys here?
We came because Colorado has gotten as expensive as California, Los Angeles. Our prices seem to get to be the same, and the traffic just had increased uh, exponentially over a couple years before we moved, and everything was just a way higher cost of living. And then we heard that we were retiring, and we heard that health care and that sort of thing were a lot less expensive here. So Dan did a lot of research on international living. That kind of started him, and then we decided together on Ecuador.
And did you guys come down here to visit before you kind of settled them?
Yes, Dan came for 2 months. I was still working in 2016, and Dan came for 2 months. He had gotten laid off from his job and had a hard time finding another job at our age. And so we found out that we were well set in a situation where we could retire. And so he came down for 2 months, and then the last 2 weeks of that visit here, I came on my vacation. Then we went back, and it took us a year to sell everything, and we thought we'd be able to come back in a few months, but we found it took a lot longer to get prepared and sell everything and make the trip. There's a lot of paperwork that you have to do, with visas and such to so you have to get that all accomplished.
Okay, so you've been here 2.5 years now. You guys are renting.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Do you think you would want to get your own place at some point?
It's possible. I have some land that I need to sell in Colorado. And so when that sells, that'll give us a lot more opportunity to live where we want. And you're advised before you come to Ecuador not to buy anything for 2 years, to at least live. And if you can, travel around Ecuador to see which places you want to settle. Yeah.
And so you guys settled here. And are you happy with your choice?
Yes, the weather is just perfect all year round. And you naturally lose weight when you come here because the living is so clean. I mean, without even trying, you'll lose weight. And it's kind of rugged here, wouldn't you agree? It's rugged here. And so that you do a lot of walking, and you get a lot more exercise here than you do in the States. Yeah.
What does your family back there think about you guys moving down here?
They're not happy. No, they're not happy. But, thank goodness we have Skype and, of course, emails, and WhatsApp is great because that's free, and Facebook Messenger. So, yeah. And you can always go back for visits.
Yeah. How has it been for you guys making new friends here?
I told my children I have never had so many friends as I've had here, of all ages. We have good friends that are your age, the age of our kids, and we have good friends that are our age and in between, and it's just been wonderful, friend-wise. Yeah.
And did you guys speak much Spanish before you got here?
No, we didn't. We took classes, but it's we both have found it's very hard to learn a new language when you're older. And so Duolingo is a great thing to download on your phone if you want to practice. And then there are some people here that teach classes that are really good, and I'm actually studying with a girl, more of a tutoring type thing now. And then Dan and I decided that we'll start practicing every day together on our Spanish. So, yeah. You do have to put an effort in. There are because this isn't a lot of expat people live here, and English is a language that's spoken by the expats pretty pretty within all of the countries that come here. You really do have to make an effort in Vilcabamba to learn Spanish, because you could be lazy and just speak English all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's very important for the respect of the people and for just communicating what you need and understanding them to speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Now, you cut hair.
Yes.
That's actually why I'm here at your house today.
Yes.
You were just cutting my hair.
Yes.
So that's kind of like a little extra income thing that you have going on here, huh?
Yeah, I was a hairstylist. I also owned a dental staffing business, and I've always done 2 jobs, and I owned my dental staffing business and also was a hairstylist, and I love it. It's a passion of mine. And so when Dan wanted to move here, he wanted me to retire early, and that was really hard for me because I loved my salon, my clients, and the owner I rented a booth from. And so I like to do it here just for fun. Yeah, just for a passion. Mm-hmm.
That's great. It's a very transferable skill.
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
people have been very glad that you're
That's
here.
nice.
That's great. And how have you found the cost of living here in reality now that you're actually here and you've been here for a couple of years? How is it comparing for you to the US?
It's wonderful. I fell the second week we were here, because it is rugged. We were at an organic farm, and they hadn't yet finished fixing the dirt where the farm is on the hill so that you could walk on it easily, and I fell and dislocated this finger and had to go on an emergency to Loja, to a hospital there.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful doctor, and it was only $143 to to have that done. So I think you have to find out good medical care from people who know, from Ecuadorians. It helps if you make friends with the Ecuadorians, wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
And our landlord here is an attorney here in Vilcabamba and in Loja, and he always gives us great recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
What has surprised you about being here?
It's like the Wild West. That's what I tell people. It really is, not to put people off by that, but you have to come here. First of all, I came here with a mindset of I am keeping my expectations really low from the first visit that I had, and because I didn't like it the first time I came, and I just kept my expectations really low this whole time, and I haven't been disappointed because I don't expect much. And I knew that it was not like the United States. You can't come here and think it's going to be like where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to make it here if you think that way. And you find that you really do have to take care of yourself a lot. And maybe with your friends, take care of each other. But you're not going to get a lot of sympathy or help from the police, I hate to say. But wouldn't you agree with that? You really have to take care of yourself because you're a gringo. So people don't have a lot of sympathy for you, when you're a gringo. So you just have to be careful. Find out from Ecuadorians that you trust ways to do things, and find out from other expats. And we joined Facebook communities here a year before we moved here, and that helps a lot because you get a lot of your questions answered and you get a lot of good advice.
Are there any warnings you would give to people?
Yes. You don't want to look like you have money. You don't want to wear expensive jewelry. Something like this that is just decorative is fine. I didn't even think before I came here that you could wear any jewelry. But you want to be very careful and not look like you're wealthy. You don't want to show money, that you have a lot of money in front of when you're out shopping. You never ever leave your purse sitting somewhere, your belongings. There is a young woman that's a photographer that came into town, and she wears her camera, expensive camera, around her neck, and that's a big mistake. And you don't want to go walking by yourself. You know, a lot of young people come here as backpackers, especially young women, and they think they can walk these trails and hike these trails. Very dangerous. You don't want to do that. So, yeah.
So for you, despite these kind of things that you would issue as warnings for others, it still makes sense for you guys to be here. It's still worth it.
You know, especially the things that are going on in the United States right now. Dan and I are very happy to be here, other than missing our families. The people are really sweet. They're very sweet. It's kind of like the United States in the 50s. And, you know, the cost of living works, and we just have wonderful friends here. And yeah, all in all, when you weigh the pros and the cons, I think it's been a good choice for us.
Yeah. And you don't foresee yourselves returning up there?
Oh gosh, no. We went back in October for my daughter's wedding, and it was culture shock, actually. You know, the reverse. When you come here, you learn to live without so much. And you see how materialistic everyone is in the United States, and the things that they care about really don't matter. And I was that way. I thought that way before I came here. So I'm not saying anything about them that I didn't see in myself before I came here. So yeah, you're more focused on eating in a healthy way here. There's a lot of organic and food, and a lot of health workers here that are very natural. And I have a friend here that did a natural therapy for cancer, and they do it in Mexico and they do it here, and she's doing great. So yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts, pieces of advice, suggestions?
No. You know, people do bring their dogs over from the States. Your animals have to be under 10 years old in order to bring them.
Okay.
We had to give our cat away because she was 10, but we brought our dog, who was 4 at the time. So yeah, there's a whole bit of information about that. You know, if you want more information, you can ask on Facebook, and people will be glad to give you. If you have any, I guess that's what I'd like to say. If you have any questions or any concerns, or you're thinking about it, Facebook is a great place to get your questions answered. But I guess I would say some, you know, like I said before, people who want to have what they had in the States, a lot of things you're not going to find here. So you just have to be aware of that.
Yeah. And you have anything to say about the bureaucracy here, like handling kind of...
Oh my gosh. You know, you should do another video just about that. Because that is, you have to get recommendations from people on Facebook for attorneys and people to help you move that other people have used successfully, because people will take your money and then not follow through. And I've heard a lot of horror stories. Fortunately, we haven't had a problem, but even with a couple people we used, I heard bad stories about. So you just have to get a lot of good recommendations for your move, whether you're moving your personal items or just your paperwork. You have to get a lot of good feedback and recommendations from people who've gone through it.
It's the Wild West.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You got to take care of yourself.
Yes, you do.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Christy.
Okay.
That was wonderful.
And she's awesome, by the way.
Aw, thank you.